I'd like to call this September 8th council work session and regular meeting to order. Before we start, I'd like to remember two firemen who put about 115 years of service together. Ed Margovich, who put 65 years in as a fireman with 3rd District and a lifelong member of number 3s. And I also want to remember Dave Albright, who passed away. Dave was a member of American Hose, Hook and Ladder, Station 25. He spent over 50 years as a fireman in Bristol. So we lost two outstanding firemen this month, and I think we just remember them and their family in our prayers and all those who passed away during the month. Please salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Dillon, would you roll call, please?
Yes, Mr. Pezek.
Here.
Ms. Cohen on vacation. Ms. Rodriguez.
Here.
Mr. Cousins is at school this evening. Ms. Figueroa.
Here.
Mr. Johnson.
Here.
Mr. Catroci. Understand he's coming soon. We set another meeting. Mr. DiGiuseppe.
Here. So Mr. Catroci and our Chief Joe Moore is at a meeting at Dow Chemical for financial aid to our school district. They're there with the school putting a presentation on. They're trying to get some money for the school. Last year, Joe left to come here and they took a vote. And by them taking a vote, we lost over $10,000. So I told Joe to stay there until the vote's taken tonight. So he's there with Louie. So we have two people voting tonight. It's Burlington, Bristol Borough, Bristol Township. We're applying for this grant. So hopefully the chief will get here. In the meantime, Alife's here representing the police department, and Mr. Catroci will be here as soon as that meeting's over. Hopefully, they said by 7:30. Okay, before we get started, we have Lumberman's here. So Dan Lyons, you want to do a presentation to council? Go to the podium. Wherever you
This on here?
There is no mic. It's just being recorded for the television.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, great. Thank you for being here. My name is Dan Lyons. I'm an attorney from Fox Rothschild here on behalf of the applicant. I'm not sure if you're too familiar with this project, this property, so I'll just give you a brief overview and introduce the project here.
Dan, do you need an easel or anything? You good?
Yeah, is there one? If there's not, we can make do without one.
No, that's good.
Somebody be down a white.
Can you just hold it up? There you go. That'll hold it up. So this property is located 2101 Hunter Road in Bristol Borough.
Let me try to I'll give you this. Do you want to use it as a pointer?
It's okay. I don't think we need the pointer. Thank you, though. The property is in the LI Industrial Zoning District, and the property is approximately 2.8 acres in size. It's improved with an existing lumber yard, including the warehouse and related improvements. Applicant is here requesting a waiver of land development, approval to place a Quonset hut on the existing impervious surface. And if you don't know what a Quonset hut is, I didn't either when going through this process when I first got involved. But it's essentially I'm just going to show a photo.
We know what it is.
You know what it is? Okay. Well, that's about what it is. Just an open air on two sides of the roof to, the purpose is to protect the lumber that they have at the lumber yard. Again, as I mentioned a moment ago, this is being placed on existing impervious surface. So no new impervious surface is proposed with this application. We're asking for a waiver due to the limited nature of what this proposal is. Essentially, it's a large tent, permanent tent on the property. And if the council might be aware, but we did have a staff meeting with borough staff back in April about this application. It was since resubmitted, but at that time there was some discussion about how to deal with stormwater, if stormwater management was needed or not. And there was a discussion between Ted here, the site engineer, and Gilmore and Associates as far as stormwater and how to address that, if any. And they did agree to a proposal, a kind of collaborative effort to address any stormwater concerns. So no issues there. We did receive and review a review letter from Gilmore dated August 29th, 2025, which is a pretty clean review letter. There's not much in there, but I can represent that everything in there is a will comply. So no issues there. But with that, we're here to answer any questions the council may have with regard to.
I might add, Dan, that if council's inclined to approve the waiver, it'll be subject to the execution of a waiver of land development agreement.
Yeah. And it would be also conditioned upon the August 29th review
Well,
letter.
that would be in the agreement.
I have a question. Does this impact, is this any sort of relationship to any new activity that's going on back there?
New activity?
Like, is it a new part of the business?
I don't believe so. It's just part of the existing business.
Okay, and will it impact the hours of operation at all? Okay. Just a thought. I mean, it's it's tacitly related to what it is that you guys are talking about. Obviously, that train yard there has been a point of contention for the people that live along it. It went at one point in time from pretty quiet to a fully operational yard. Something that I know is not in your control necessarily, but we would ask if we're going to pay you guys the respect of waiving the land development, that you consider that operation, that anything you can do to mitigate how loud and active that yard can be, where it went from a place that was pretty sleepy to a very, very active lumber yard, or excuse me, not lumber yard, train yard. I'm sure you guys know that we've been having conversations with Conrail and Amtrak and everybody back there. What we often find is that we get agreements from Conrail to scale it back at certain hours of the day. Right now, I think we're in a pretty good place with when they're operating. So what tends to happen is that they come to a place where we get to where we are now. This has been I've been on the Borough Council for 13 years now, and it's about every 2 years we're in a good place, and then 2 years later we're not. So anything you guys can do to keep us in that good place would be much appreciated. Thank you.
I think what Greg's been fighting this along with my son who's the mayor and Councilwoman Cullen. The neighbors, their kids cannot sleep. They got school the next day, the boxcars are banging till 2, 3 in the morning. They start at like 11 at night and they go till 6 in the morning. Like Greg said, we met with Congressman Fitzpatrick and other representatives out there. We can't deal with more product coming in with these trains, and they're saying, well, we need to get on the other side and we only can do it during the night. But like Greg said, the last 6 months, it's been very quiet. They're doing it between like dinner time and maybe 9, 10 o'clock at night, which is good. But now that the kids are back in school and all, I mean, there's got to be some kind of, we even applied, we got a $1.7 million federal grant to put up a sound wall. That's how far this has gone. And we had a sound study done that's saying it's not going to stop the noise because the noise is vibrating through the ground. So the sound wall going up is not going to help. So we're not going to waste $1.7 million. That's how far we have taken this. So we need to really get your support and everybody else's support to say the Conrail or whoever's involved in bringing your product in that you know what, we gotta consider the neighbors across the street too. So, this is a major concern of what's going on, and you're gonna be bringing more product in, there's no question about that. So, I don't know.
Just want to make sure, we have it in the room, so it's,
Yeah.
it's always.
That's fine, it's solid. We'd rather talk about it over here.
Yeah.
And obviously, you won't be bringing more product in as a result of this.
I got it.
To be truthful with you.
No, I understand that.
This is, we put some machinery in, as you guys know, and all
Right.
that stuff. And we just ran it out of inside storage. So this, all this is doing is taking product that we're having issues with getting wet and everything else and putting it in. So I'm just
And we wanna work with you, it isn't like we wanna, we wanna be a good neighbor. When we have people calling us at 11 o'clock at night or 12 o'clock at night saying, my kids can't sleep, or the trains, see, in the wintertime, the engines have to run. So they don't even shut them down, so that diesel smell is coming, it's like September, October, and the windows, they can't even keep their windows open. So we have a major problem there. And,
No, we're happy to, truthfully, we'll do anything we can do to help.
Okay, so-
We can modify when we unload and everything else, so, I'm not just saying that,
Right.
No, I
we're
understand.
happy to be part of the process, too.
Okay.
And we believe you. What we've often been told, I don't want to go as far to say I don't believe some other people, but we've often been told the opposite, right? That they operate because of your schedule. And that there's not much they can do about that because they have to serve their clients and that they're a business. Anyway, we don't need to litigate all that right here. You guys are well aware of the issue. And just your
We're
word.
happy to, truthfully, I'm sorry, we're happy to be part of those conversations, because we're not,
Yeah,
we don't have a time period they have to come in.
right.
We're very, very flexible on when those route cars come in.
Understood. Thank you.
So just for the record, because they're texting, you can't hear them, right? Yeah. Just state your name and everything for the record from that mic. And your position with Lumberman's.
Sorry about that. I'm Tim Deegan with Lumberman's president. So, and as I said, honestly, we're happy to be part of the conversations. We unload them during the day, but,
That's great.
and that's really, we want to unload them during the day. So,
Right.
but if they bring them in during the day, we can, we're very flexible there, not an issue at all. And if you want us involved, when you're
Oh,
talking to
definitely.
Conrail and stuff, we're more than happy to be involved.
Okay,
So,
thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, any questions? That's it.
I have nothing further, so just
That's good.
request your approval.
Thank you very much. So we'll vote on that probably, you don't need to stay for it. We'll contact you and let you know what's what.
Okay.
Unless you want to hang around, it's up to you.
All right, thank you. I'll do. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna open this meeting up to public participation. So anybody want to speak on anything, go to the mic and state your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Allison Toadvine. I live at 215 Market Street. I'm here today, it's my first time, and I was encouraged to come by Officer Joe Moores. I saw him on Saturday, and I was just talking to him about how much I love living in Bristol. I love the activity, I love all the events, but with all the events, a lot of people tend to come into town, which is great. I think it's great for businesses. But I'm a resident that I don't have a driveway, I don't have a garage I can park in, I'm a homeowner, and I would just like to be able to park in front of my house at the end of the day when I get home, but it can be difficult at times. And I noticed that the people that tend to park there are not necessarily fellow residents, but patrons of the town or people that work on Mill Street. And I was just wondering if there's anything that you guys can do to really help the residents, especially those that are really close to Mill Street, like on Market Street, with parking in the area. And when I was talking to my boyfriend Christian about it, he had mentioned that it's similar to what happened in Phoenixville. It was very up and coming. And what they did there for the residents was kind of like a permit parking situation where they could put up a sign that says, only residents can park on this street, and maybe you could give out permits, but I'm just thinking of ideas. But would be open to hearing what your thoughts are on the topic and if there's anything you can do to help out the residents of
So
Bristol.
let me tell you, Allison,
Yeah.
the mayor has been working on a few things, and he did meet with a couple people on Cedar and Wood, the 100 blocks and 200 block. Here's the problem, and we can't figure a way to solve this. You live on Market, so we give you a parking pass for you to park there. Now, everybody's got it, let's just say we gave out 50 passes in the first 30 homes on every block.
Right.
Well, what happens tomorrow if I want to park there and I'm visiting you? Or Greg wants to park there, he's visiting you. Where do we tell him to park? So the
yeah.
problem, it's a domino effect. Like everybody says, well, why don't you give me a spot? I'm a taxpayer in front of my home. And I say, okay, so every house gets a spot. Everybody gets one spot. Now, you got your husband, you got 2 kids that are driving. Where do they park? And somebody said, well, put them on the next block. Yeah, but we got to give the next block a pass.
Right.
So it's
Like a
there's
snowball
no way,
effect,
unless
yeah.
we could create pocket parking, which we're looking into trying to take either some structures down and create more parking. There is no solution to this. I mean, I was in Boston a month ago. I couldn't get a parking place. I had to
Yeah.
drive back to my hotel and get an Uber back to where I wanted to go. There's just no parking.
Right.
And it's when you're in a small town that's, 300 years old, they're not prepared for this kind of growth and everything that's going on, which is great, like you said, but for you, it's a nightmare. And we understand that the residents are having a problem. It's all over town. It's not just this end, it's all over Harriman, it's all over every side street. So we need to figure a way, and we're working on it, trying to come up with a solution, but putting lines on a street to make sure you park between the lines, so people that know how to park, they don't take up 2 spots. So you get 1 spot, but there's really, we can't figure it out. And I'll be honest with you, it isn't like we have
Right.
no answer to your problem right now.
Well, do you
We're
know-
going to
yeah.
figure it out.
Maybe if we looked into how Collegeville does it, maybe that would be a good example of what we could do in Bristol Borough, or,
And what do they do?
I don't know, I could look into it and get back to you.
No, I can speak on
Oh, okay.
You want to go to the podium and state your name?
My name is Christian O'Brien. I live with Allison at 215 Market. I do have rental properties in Phoenixville. I've had them for about 20 years. And when I first bought, there was nothing going on there. Then they redid the town, and then much like Mill Street, a lot of new businesses, and same problem where there was no parking. So what they did was they allowed 2 permits per household, which you pay a yearly fee for. I can't remember off the top of my head what that is. So you could have 2 per household, paid yearly. And then if you were there visiting, say like I go there to work on the rentals, I would just notify the borough, and they would just give me a temporary pass. And so like I would think you could say, or you could have like guest passes, like a certain number for family that's going to come visit, and you could just put that on their car temporarily. And also, it's not at all times. It's like, so you can go like during the day and park there. Like, so if I'm there before 5 p.m. on a weekday, it's fine. It's only from like 6 p.m. until I believe 8 a.m. the next morning. And then the weekends are not, there's no permits for the weekends as well.
But here's the thing, in the borough, and every house is not bigger than 20 feet wide. So if you go down Cedar or you go down Wood, you got house. So I couldn't give you 2 spots because your neighbor doesn't have a spot. You know what I'm saying? So
I
we
do
only
understand.
have enough, if we gave out a spot for every house, and there's 50 houses on the street, we give out 50 and 50. There's 100 spots, we're just saying, there's 50 homes on a block. Where's the next 50? Where's my kid gonna
Just
park?
keeping the residents.
I'm saying residents, you got,
Making sure that people that aren't
there's
residents
two
are
of you
parking.
living in one house.
Yeah,
So if your house is 20 feet wide, you put one car out front, where's the next car go?
but I don't think that matters because.
It does matter.
The purpose is that you're keeping people that aren't residents from parking there, not that you're giving every resident a parking spot. You're trying to keep the people that aren't residents from parking. So like, sometimes he doesn't get a spot up front and he has to park somewhere else. But that's not the point. It's not the point to give everybody a parking spot. It's to keep people that aren't residents from parking in front of your house. It's to deter them.
All right.
To deter-
Almost every time we have people park in front of the house, they are non-residents.
Yeah.
And we actually have people from
That work on
Cedar
Mill Street.
and from Mill that live there that park in front of her house because
There's no
there's
parking
no
Because
parking
people
because
on
of
Mill
everybody.
And that's always been a problem.
Yeah.
We've tried to talk to the employees that come from out of town to work in these places and tell them that we have a big parking lot.
Yeah, and that's
Like, you
empty a
know,
lot of the
but
times you go down there,
They
there's
just
like
don't wanna
100
walk.
spots.
No, and they still do
But that's what I'm saying, like the permits would deter people that are not residents from parking there. It's not to give everybody a parking spot, because not everybody's gonna get one anyway. It's just to keep people that aren't residents from parking in front of your house at the times when you really need to park there, like when you're parking
Yeah,
overnight.
grocery
or-
shopping, people
Exactly, yeah.
come on.
I live on
Like I'm
Main
afraid
Street.
to leave the spot in front of my house because I don't want somebody
Yeah,
to take
but
it.
that's all over. That's all over, especially when we have these events that are coming up. This weekend was Italian Day and I left for a little while and I live on Bath Street.
Right.
And I have a driveway, but we have 3 cars. But when we got back, there was nowhere to park and I noticed that all our spots that were empty, they were all full. It's just.
But just so you know, this isn't something that
No, it's
No,
not
I
new.
know.
we're constantly trying to figure with our engineers, and we're trying to figure a way to make this work.
Yeah.
And we're looking into maybe we give out like Rackle Street, you get a token, so if you don't have to, there's meters, so you don't have to pay for the meter because you live there, so maybe do we put meters on some of these blocks? So people don't park there. I don't know what the solution is, but I can tell you, we're gonna figure it out eventually.
So if I could, less as a councilman, more as a business owner that's right on the street there, it's something that concerns me, but it's Betty's board. But one of the things I would say to Ralph's point about the meters, I think you might be getting the issue a little bit more because of the meters. Meaning that people are like, I'm not sure about this meter, so I'm just gonna go right around the corner.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, for a congested place, parking on Mill Street isn't always that bad on Mill, because people are looking for alternatives. So I think that's something to consider as to what you were saying. And then also, I really think education on the fact that we have that parking lot, it would be
Yeah.
good. Maybe different
More
signage,
signage.
some like lighting that just kind of indicates like, go there.
Yeah.
And I do encourage my employees to do it. They don't all do it, obviously. It's like encouraging
Right.
my son doesn't always do it. I can't do either. But I do think the businesses should encourage their employees to park
Yeah.
in the back.
That'd be great. And then also maybe like even just some signage, like, you know, resident parking behind or something like that to like remind people, because there's also a woman who specifically filed for a handicap parking spot and her mother like can't walk and she has to walk her to and from, and sometimes people that are dining at a local restaurant who are also handicapped will take that parking spot from her. So maybe even indicating like this is specifically a homeowner handicap, because then she'll drive around and just.
No, we can't do that.
Okay, well, I'm just looking
No,
at it.
it's a nice suggestion, but once you're handicapped, you can park there.
Anybody can
Yeah.
park there.
Okay.
All right, we'll keep
Okay,
in touch.
thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah,
All right.
appreciate it.
Say it. Okay, Greg, what do you have? Oh, wait, AJ, you have anything?
Yeah, I presented each of you with a memo regarding the Green Lane flooding. Most of what's in my memo, we've already discussed. I just wanted to put it on official letterhead, and if you guys have any questions about any responses or anything that we've done down there, I can answer.
These are the gates that my son talked about.
Correct.
All right, what's on our
It's on our
agenda
agenda, yes,
to be
sir.
voted on? Okay. Any question for AJ?
No.
Greg, what do you have?
I just wanted to reiterate, about, the sympathies and the fact that the borough lost two, great men who both happen to be, firefighters as well, in Dave and Ed, and their loss will be felt. Just want to let people know that this council and everyone involved with it really honors their memory and respects what they've done for this borough. So I really feel for the families, and we lost two big ones. I also wanted to, I don't know if thank is the right word, but just kind of highlight what our first responders often do with the police department and our EMTs, our EMS, and our firefighters. Former Councilman Jim Lutz had a very serious incident on Sunday, yesterday, on Mill Street, where he had to be paddled. And I spoke to his son, who said that had the police and the emergency services not been right there, that he would have not made it. So I don't want to say much more because I don't know all the details. I know that he is stable according to his son. We're all happy to hear that. But I know his son really appreciates what was done. And I think there might be more to come on that. But thank you guys for all the work that you guys do to keep this borough safe and keep the residents safe. And I think you guys saved a life on Sunday. So other than that, I would just like to reiterate, and I don't want to say that, that I, more than anyone else, but I know that Lorraine, myself, the mayor, have been screaming from the high heavens about exactly what you're talking about with the underpass for years now. And it does feel like it's finally starting to get a little traction, which is good. Unfortunately, it's getting traction for some of the wrong reasons, probably. And I just hope it continues to get that traction before the wrong reason is the worst kind of reason, where someone actually pays with their life under that bridge. It's not safe. And, again, just to let people know where it stands, we're going to be talking about something that we've talked about for a while with blocking that off formally when there's a storm. But there's also a huge pipe and drainage issue that it is very much the borough's position that is the responsibility of the state of Pennsylvania. And the state of Pennsylvania keeps putting up as many roadblocks as possible to deal with that issue. And, I know Representative Davis has been trying very hard. State Senator Steve Santicero has been trying very hard. Sometimes the bureaucracy of PennDOT is very difficult to navigate through. But we need to navigate through this bureaucracy. They need to hear us that they need to do something on Green Lane. They need to do it soon, or else there's going to be a problem. And that's all I have. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I do have one more thing. And that, I apologize, but it's odd that we have this PA micro-ability fact sheet that's in front of us here. And it talks a lot about electric scooters, motorized petacycles, motor scooters, Segway, e-bike, bicycles. There are so many kids in town these days that are riding around on those electric scooters. Maybe it's just because it's kind of in my nature to be cautious. I was never a very good skateboarder. I was never very adventurous when it came to that kind of stuff. And I always admired the kids who were. Just wasn't me. But every time I see a kid on one of those scooters that's moving at 20 miles an hour, and they're like 10, I get pretty nervous about the way in which they move. And according to this sheet, and I don't know, Officer Lipe or the chief can speak to it a little bit more, but according to this sheet that was given to us, and it's a PennDOT sheet, that it says electric scooters can only operate on private property. I don't know if you guys gave this to us. This was sitting on our desk. Is that from you guys?
Probably.
Yeah. So it just, with this weather, obviously the weather will change soon, but at the very very least, I would say, parents, please have your kids wear helmets if they're zipping around on those things. It's a disaster waiting to happen. But that's all I have.
Brian, you have anything?
I want to say about touch on the subject of Greg with the scooter. Like recently, my son got in an accident. He didn't have a helmet on. We ended up taking the scooter away from him. But like at least if your kid is riding a scooter, put a helmet on him because he ended up with a concussion and all of that. So at least protect the kid if you're gonna allow him to wear it or drive. That's it.
Maria?
The only thing that I have is that I am scheduled to meet with Amtrak this month to discuss all of the underpaths on like the Ray Street, Bruce Street, Pine Street, Corson, Garden, and Prospect. So we'll be discussing the cleanup and the maintenance for all of those areas. And that's it, that's all I have.
Betty?
I just have one concern. Mr. Dillon, the lot across from Golden Eagle, have they decided what they're gonna do there?
They still intend to move ahead with the car lot.
Okay,
The problem has been for the last almost a year dealing with PennDOT to get a permit. As a matter of fact, Sally was on the phone with PennDOT today trying to get that permit expedited. So it's really not their fault. It's been PennDOT, so we're trying.
okay. And then another issue I have, to Alifa or to Joe, we have tractor trailers parked there now at nighttime. During the day, there's one that's always there. Is that legal, or are they allowed to park there and just hang out, or? Right across from Golden Eagle. Where used to be the.
They should not be parking there.
Okay, so you might want to send your guys to check it out, because all week there's been a tractor trailer parked there. And at first I thought it was only for a little while, like my husband said, well, they can stop there if they went to the diner. But no, it's like two of them were parked there like for hours. So you might want to keep an eye on that area. And that's all I have.
I like the fact that Alife is already writing it down.
Yeah, that's what I said, Alifa and.
Good job, buddy.
Thank you.
Louis, you want to jump in? You have anything, or?
No,
Do you guys get the money, or no? That's all I care about.
it's not announced yet.
Oh, it's not announced yet? All right. I got faith in you, though. I have a few things. One, there's an open house Wednesday, September 17th, from 6 to 8 p.m. at Goodwill Firehouse. Pico will be there to discuss the current status of this cleanup
What time?
between 6 to 8 p.m. on September 17th at number 3's. Everybody noticed they started today on installing the new lighting in our parking lot, in the Mill Street parking lot. They're getting, all new lights are being installed. It's a few $100,000 project, all paid for through grants, not taxpayer money. At the end of the month, we're going to be repairing the electrical work on the docks. We have some issues there. So the docks will be shut down for a week at least. We're going to try to work around Bristol Day and the doo-wop with that. So we'll try to make sure that doesn't happen during that period of time. The doo-wop will be held, the Oldies on the River, they got so many different names for it now, on Saturday, September 20th at 5 p.m. 6 p.m. sharp, the groups will start. So from 5 to 6, there'll be a DJ and getting everybody warmed up. But at 6 o'clock, they're starting sharp this year. And they want to try to end it, by 9 o'clock. So that's regarding that issue. Okay. After almost 2 years, I just signed this contract between the borough and the non-uniform. So Lisa, you have a contract signed tonight. Hopefully, everything will get resolved in the next week or two. Everybody will get their pay and everything that has to get done. But this is a signed contract. The union signed it. I signed it tonight in executive session when we discussed it with our solicitor. The other thing is I'm a little disheartened about the police contract. So how it works is the police gives us, their contract's up this year. So the police gives their demands to the borough, and we have a certain date that we have to give our demands to the police department, which we did. We gave our demands, they gave their demands. I felt that everybody wants transparency, so I wanted to be more transparent and do all the meetings in this room on TV. Police, council, the manager, the solicitor, open to the public, whoever wants to come and sit here, so we can let the public know and more importantly, the taxpayer know what the police officers want, what their demands are, and what we want to offer and what our demands are. And I think transparency is what everybody wants. So I want to be transparent and set these meetings up. So I get a letter on September 5th, saying that police unit, this is from Officer Lepore, who said that we're at an impasse. And since we're at an impasse, they want to go right to binding arbitration. How could you be at an impasse when we didn't even start negotiating a contract? Which makes no sense. So I don't know where we're going with this, but I'm going to have the manager. We have dates from our solicitor to send to the PBA president, which is Mr. Lepore, asking him to come here and negotiate in public so we can have transparency in our police department and with our council and with our taxpayers and with any resident that wants to show up to the meeting. If they don't want to negotiate in public, I'm going to let the public know exactly what they're asking for, what we're offering, and what we want to offer. I think this is very important because some of the demands are outrageous, and I think going to binding arbitration isn't fair to the taxpayers. What happens with the non-uniform? They have to keep negotiating until we can reach an agreement. With the police department, it's called binding arbitration, so they could just say, well, you know what, you pick an arbitrator, we pick an arbitrator, let him decide. And they know 90% of the time the arbitrator favors the police department. Well, and there's nothing we can do about it, but I think it's, in plain words, bullshit. And we're going to negotiate this contract in public, and I want everybody to know how much cops are making, what they want, their insurance benefits. I'm going to put everything on the screen. And if they don't want to, it doesn't matter. And no disrespect to anybody here, because nobody did more for the police department and the cops than I did. We built a brand new police station. We got brand new police cars, state-of-the-art facility, guns, tasers, bikes, you name it, they got it. So we want transparent negotiations, and we want to do it on TV in this room for everybody to see. So we hope they take my offer and show up, or they can give us dates and we'll work around their schedule. But it's going to be public knowledge of everything that's going on. What do you think, Mr. Garden?
I wouldn't add to what you just said, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Dillon, you have anything? You know how I feel right now, so to me, it's ridiculous. You want to go to binding arbitration when you never even negotiated one day to see if we can work something out.
On the agenda this evening, under item 11, is approved the barrier gates and emergency lighting for Green Lane Underpass in the amount of $31,044. Two things. One, Bristol Township has reached out to us and said that they would be willing to pay for half of that. So we are working together with Bristol Township. But our engineer, Kurt, has a few questions and comments because some of these bid prices have been hanging around for a while, so.
Yeah, thank you. Briefly, real quick, we had gotten these prices some time ago, both in the material and installation costs with foundations that go with these posts. And we went back in anticipation of tonight to make sure those costs were still good and the availability was still available for the product. And we had, you know, not unique to most things, we found that the costs have escalated and the availability has now been pushed where these gates, they're pretty popular now. A lot of municipalities are installing them, but they can't get these gates available till March of next year. So we think there are other vendors that exist, and we'd like to go try to source similar alternatives. That said, if council is amenable to amending the motion to a not to exceed $40,000 instead of the $31,000 from the original quotes, that would give us a little bit of flexibility. Then, of course, going back to the township and making sure they're amenable to that as well.
That's fine. Okay, don't you have anything? No, that's it. Chuck, you have anything?
Something else we'll talk a little bit later about other things.
And, I want to go back to this one more time because I don't want anybody to think I'm against I support police more than anybody. I just want everybody to know that. But I also, when I took this job, I took it to protect the taxpayer. I always kept the taxpayer in mind no matter what we did. Brand new buildings, borough heart, new roads, you name it, we did it. But we kept the taxpayers in mind. And I'm not going to just say, okay, you go to binding arbitration, we're going to give you whatever you want, 8 years post-retirement benefits, which will cost the taxpayers for one cop almost $400,000. You give him benefits for 8 years. I'm not voting for it. I'm not doing it. I don't know how we fight it. But when somebody puts down, they want to be their medical benefits to continue 8 years after they retire, and you're paying $40,000 a year for a cop's insurance, which is costing 10 years, is $400,000. That's insane. That's totally insane. So, all right, my pressure's coming down. All right, let's move on to our agenda,
Okay.
wherever it's at. Okay. We have no public participation, so we can go right to item number 2.
President, I'd like to make a motion to accept the council meeting minutes for August 11th, 2025, to accept the treasurer's report for July of 2025, to accept the fire chief's report for August of 2025, the inspection report for August of 2025, the public works report for August of 2025, the hard report for August of 2025, August 25th of 2025, the Gilmore report dated September 2025 for August 2025 work.
I have a second by Mrs. Rodriguez. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 3.
President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the waiver of land development for Quonset Hut at Lumberman Associates Incorporated on Hunter Road in Bristol, PA. TMP number 04-015-001-001, expiration 9/10/25, conditioned upon executing a waiver of land development agreement.
Second by Mr. Catroci. Questions or comments? So the only thing I want to say is this still has to go in front of the land development, correct?
No, it's not, you're waiving it, but
We're waiving
the waiver of land development agreement will make sure all the engineering issues are buttoned up, all the
Resolved.
permits are received.
Okay. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the ordinance amending the provisions of Chapter 115 Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Section 15-406 Parking Time Limited in certain locations, certain dates, and hours to allow 15-minute parking on Rackford Street, north in front of the bagel joint.
I have a second by Mr. Catroci. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 5.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion granting an honorable disability discharge to Alan Hankinson pursuant to Section 2, 1 of the Police Tenure Act, 53P.S. 812, parentheses 1, and the borough's uniform pension plan.
Second by Mrs. Rodriguez. Questions or comments? Mr. Garden, can you please explain?
Sure.
Because this is something that you're recommending to council.
Well, I think council's well aware of the fact that Acting Sergeant Hankinson has been on workman's compensation as a result of an incident occurring in November of 2022. And reviewing the medical records that have accompanied his workman's comp, it clearly indicated that he's incapable of performing his job as a police officer. The borough manager sent him a letter in July explaining that we would be proceeding with this particular activity and action coming up soon. Asked him to submit anything that would dispel the conclusion that he was not capable of being a police officer for physical restrictions. He was unable to provide anything, and we received confirmation from his lawyer. We then notified him we were going to take this action tonight, and accordingly, nobody's here tonight to object, and I think it's appropriate that you proceed along the lines of placing him on a disability retirement pension. It means he gets a pension, he's on disability, so there's a certain benefit to that from a tax perspective. He will not be, without any funds.
So we're not hurting him in any way?
No, well, he's not capable of being a police officer.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed?
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve terminating the heart and lung benefits payable to Alan Hankinson for the reasons as noted in the prior motion.
Second by Ms. Figueroa. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 7.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution for the 2026 minimum municipal obligation, the non-uniform pension plan, in the amount of $485,088.61.
Second by Ms. Rodriguez. Questions or comments? Just so you know, this is our contribution to the non-uniform pension fund, $485,000. I got a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 8.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution for the 2026 minimum municipal obligation for the uniform pension plan in the amount of $679,566.98.
Second by Ms. Figueroa. Questions or comments? So here's another example of $680,000 we're paying for pension for the police, and I could tell you in another couple of years it'll be $1 million. So I don't know where this money's going to come from. I know Mr. Garden is looking into a special tax so that borough residents would have to pay a special tax just for police, which I don't think anybody in town is going to want to start paying more taxes, but we got to draw a line somewhere, and right now it's out of control. I mean, you can't spend this kind of money when you're only taking in so much. All those in favor?
Aye. Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution for the 2026 minimum municipal obligation for the non-uniform defined contribution pension plan.
Second, Ms. Figueroa. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 10.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve awarding the 2025 CDBG curb ramp project to NJS Concrete LLC for all items in the base bid plus alternate bids number 1 and number 2 for a total project cost of $238,400, contingent upon receiving authorization from the Bucks County Community Development Block Grant Program to proceed with the work.
Second by Mrs. Rodriguez. Questions or comments? So every year we get a block of money through the county, and every year we use the same money to do more curb ramps throughout town. And we had a pattern. We were doing the main roads, the safest roads to school for kids. So we're now moving out into the other, I think in another couple years.
At the rate where the funding's going, and we we should be able to complete the entire town within the next 7 to 8 years, I think. 7 to 8 years, so.
Long time. Hopefully we're still here. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 11.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the barrier gates and emergency lighting for Green Lane underpass in the amount not to exceed $40,000, and noting that the Bristol Township will pay half.
Second by Mr. Pezza. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, anybody have anything else before we adjourn? Mr. Dillon, you'll get some dates from Mr. Martin to forward to the DBA to see if they want to start negotiating.
Sorry, Mr. President, just one thing. The Borough Rec Board is doing a chalk walk. The date is to be determined sometime in October.
Okay.
Okay. AJ, doing a great job. We're very happy with you. I want you to know that. I get a motion to adjourn, Mrs. Rodriguez, second by Mr. Pezza. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Well, people, you know that.